Recorded in Chicago, Illinois, with your hosts, Ken, Matt, Neil, and Jeff. This is Triviality. The cream of the crop!
Hello and welcome to Triviality, the game where a lack of seriousness meets a little bit of knowledge. My name is Neil, and today you are listening to another one of our tournament series. This is going to be on the subject of romantic comedies, which I'm a huge fan of. Matt, Jeff, and Ken could not be here. Unfortunately, I forced them to go through Entertainment Weekly's best romantic comedies of all time because they refused to watch them. So they'll be back, hopefully, another episode. But today we have a very special co-host, and that's Colleen. How's it going?
It's going great.
I talk about Colleen all the time. She's my girlfriend. We live together, and you helped with the questions today. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And yeah, speaking of romantic comedies, I think our first date, I think we watched Roman Holiday, right?
Yes, Roman Holiday.
And then the first time I said I love you was after the proposal.
Correct.
Okay, see, I remember.
They're all connected.
They are connected. But Colleen's going to be here helping host, but we have four very special guests. As you know, the way it's going to work, there's going to be a game one, a game two, and then we're going to have a final. So in this instance, there's four competitors each episode. The winner of each episode goes to the final, and then we're going to have a wild card, which was Matt's contribution there. Because wild cards are always exciting. So whoever scores the most points and does not win in each of these games is going to go on to be the third competitor in the final. I'm going to introduce everyone here. We have some very special guests. And just to give it a little flavor, since it's the romantic comedy episode, what would this episode be without a meet cute for each contestant? Because every romantic comedy has a great meet cute. So after I accidentally spilled orange juice on her by accident outside of her London, or under my London apartment, for coming to us from Denver is Kelsey Barcomb. How's it going, Kelsey?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us. And we sent an email out about like two different questions. You can pick one or both. And it was asking your most rewatched rom-com and why, or what rom-com couple you would like to see interact in quarantine.
Well, I'll go with question number 2. Who would I like to see in quarantine? And I'm going to go with the 50 First Dates iteration of Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, because when we last left them, they were already in a kind of quarantine of their own on a ship sailing who knows where. So I think they probably have it down and might have some fun creative ideas for what we could all be doing in quarantine. And I think it would be fun to see the videos that Adam Sandler makes for Drew Barrymore to explain why she's not allowed to go outside anymore.
That's a really good answer.
Super creative. I like that one.
Yes, I didn't even think about that one. I don't think there's a question about that movie in this episode, but now you have me thinking about it. Well, thank you for joining us. Our next contestant happened to hear Ken listening to the Smiths in an elevator, and they bonded immediately. Also coming to us from Denver is Andrew Mlynar. How's it going, Andrew?
It's going well, thanks.
And yeah, how about you? Same question. Most rewatched rom-com or a couple you'd like to see in quarantine, a little bit about yourself, whatever you'd like to tell us.
I love rom-coms, but my most rewatched, I was thinking about it earlier and I thought, well, it could be The Holiday because I watch it every Christmas because it's one of my favorites. But honestly, it's The Princess Bride.
Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. That's a great one. There was a Princess Bride question in this, which I did not include, but for just for the people at home, it was what are the names of the three men that the prince goes on his journey with?
Fezzik, Inigo, and Vicini.
That's right. Yes,
he's on it.
So yeah, you are on it. So thank you very much for joining us today. I know one of our favorites is The Holiday.
Oh yeah, I love The Holiday.
Yes. So, yeah, we watch it every Christmas, too.
Primarily the Jack Black and Kate Winslet portion.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Agreed.
I love the scene in Blockbuster when he's going through all the famous scores. It's a great scene. Our next contestant was sharing a ride with Jeff to New York City after graduating from the University of Chicago, and they disagreed about everything, but in a lovable way. And coming to us from Lexington, Kentucky is Savannah Campbell. How are you, Savannah?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and one of your answers to those questions?
Well, like you said, I'm Savannah Campbell. I'm a self-published author of 3 books on Amazon. I'm also in a clinical psychology doctoral program, getting ready to go on internship. And probably my most watched rom-com would be You've Got Mail. It was the first one I ever watched in grade school. I had the soundtrack. I've grown up with it.
Oh, it's a great one. Anytime they do the shop around the corner theme is always great. I love that. You've Got Mail. I haven't actually seen that one in a while, so we'll have to watch it. I just kind of shudder at the idea of thinking of AOL Instant Messenger. It's so old now, but
I know, right?
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And our last contestant, while sharing a taxi with Matt, they accidentally switched phones and then spent one fine day trying to relay information back and forth. And coming to us from St. Louis, that is Ron Weaver. How's it going, Ron?
Going well. How are you?
Doing well. How about you tell us a little bit about yourself and one of your answers?
Okay. I'm here in St. Louis, and I work in the exhibitions department at a local art museum, or at least I did. currently from home. I live here with my wife, and I'm also somewhat of an illustrator on the side.
Yeah, I see some really cool stuff behind you. Is any of that yours? Some of those illustrations back there?
That Cavity Sam you mentioned is sort of a work in progress.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And as far as the two questions, I thought a lot today and tried to come up with a clever answer for the first one, but couldn't come up with anything I liked. So I'll just go also with the most rewatched. And it's probably a three-way tie, but I'm going to go with Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, great. Yes, one of my favorites. Let me just make sure that one of those questions isn't in this game. It's okay. It might be, but nope. All right. So we'll save that for the second game. But yes, one of my favorites. Love Patrick Dempsey in that. I almost had a question about Loverboy, which is a great pairing of that movie. Extra anchovies. Well, we appreciate you joining us. And just a recap of the rules. It's going to be 15 questions. These are just basic questions. Highest point total at the end wins. I'll be keeping score. And the winner will move on to the final game, which will be in 2 weeks. All right, so the order for today, it was just randomly selected, is going to be Kelsey, Andrew, Savannah, and Ron. And just remember, just feel free to lock in when you know it. And if you're the last one to lock in, feel free to talk. And Colleen, you're going to read questions with me?
Correct. You said you're going to do the first set?
Yes, I'll do the first set.
All right.
Okay, so here we go. Question 1. In what has become romantic comedy trivia lore, what was the original working title for Pretty Woman? Hint, it's the amount that Vivian charges Edward for the week.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right, so Andrew, feel free to talk it out loud if you'd like.
I can't remember entirely, but I think it's a multiple of thousands. I think it's 3,000.
Okay, let's go to Kelsey.
I wasn't sure on this one. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, and I think I only watched it once, so I just went with a cool $1 million.
That's a good price. Yep. Okay. Savannah?
$3,000.
And Ron?
I'm hoping that the majority is correct because I also said $3,000.
And the answer is 3,000. Yeah, great job, everyone.
I think Julia Roberts is worth a lot more. But
I agree with that. I like the 1 million.
I wonder what with inflation that would have been now, but it should have been a lot more, especially for a week too, to be gallivanting around with Richard Gere. All right, number 2. What independent film based on a one-woman show centers around the character Tula Portokalos and went on to make fat stacks of cash, becoming one of the highest-grossing romantic comedies of all time?
Well, I know one of the most highest grossing movies is My Big Fat Greek Wedding, so I went with that.
All right. On to Andrew.
I also said My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Okay. Savannah?
My Big Fat Greek Wedding for the win.
And Ron?
Same. Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yep, points all around. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. One of the most successful independent films of all time. It had a $5 million budget, I believe. And if I remember correctly, Tom Hanks saw Nyla Vardalos in her one-woman show and optioned it to turn it into a movie. All right, so number 3. This lovable actress must have an obsession with time traveling, as she starred as Claire in The Time Traveler's Wife, Inez in Midnight in Paris, and Mary in About Time. So I'm looking for the name of an actress.
Locked in.
Okay.
Locked in.
Locked in.
I'm pretty sure it's Rachel McAdams.
All right. Kelsey?
I also said Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams.
And Ron?
Not really sure about it, but yeah, I also said Rachel McAdams.
Yep. She's in quite a lot of romantic comedies and does a great job. That's Rachel McAdams. Great job. Points all around. All right. Moving on to question 4. In the film I Love You Man, which is more of a bromantic comedy, Paul Rudd befriends Jason Segel, and they bond over what music act that has Paul Rudd, quote, slapping the bass?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
I have literally no idea.
No idea?
I've never seen that movie.
Do you want to take a guess? Just any band, or do you want to tap?
I don't even know where to begin to guess.
Okay. All right. So
No, sorry.
No, that's okay. We'll have a tap from Andrew. Let's go to Kelsey.
I believe it is Rush.
All right. Savannah.
One of my favorite ever concerts, Rush.
And Ron.
Yep, definitely Rush.
Rush. That's right. Yeah, he was obsessed with Geddy Lee, and they went to the concert. And I can't remember didn't he go on Jason Segel's shoulders at one point? Maybe not. I don't remember.
I think you're just making that up.
I know. I can't remember. I remember that scene though. Lou Ferrigno, all of that. All right. So number 5 at the end of this first mini round here. One of my favorites. Katherine Heigl has starred in many memorable romantic comedies, and I'm going to name 4 of those films that she starred in, and I need you to give me any 2 of the male co-stars / love interests from that film. So I'm looking for 2 names out of the 4 movies that I'm going to name you, and I'm looking for the actor's name. So the films are 27 Dresses, Life as We Know It, Killers, and The Ugly Truth. Andrew's locked in?
Locked in.
Sorry, one of them is one of those guys whose name just does not store in my brain.
I'm sure I think I know who that one is. Yeah. It's a couple of these guys, they look like other people too. So
I'm locked in.
Okay. So Ron, feel free to talk out loud if you'd like.
Okay. I know one of them for sure. I know 27 Dresses is James Marsden. One of those movies I've never heard of. I feel like that's Gerard Butler.
Yeah, so 27 Dresses is one of my favorite rom-coms. And so I know that one is James Marsden, who is also an actor that I quite enjoy. And then the other one that I couldn't think of, whose name always escapes me, is from The Ugly Truth, Gerard Butler.
Okay. Let's
who
go.
I usually just refer to as the guy from 300.
The guy, yeah, the shirtless guy from 300. Yep. Let's go to, or the guy who's always saving the president now, apparently. Let's go to Andrew.
Well, he's also stoic. Yeah, I also went with those 2, James Marsden in 27 Dresses and Gerard Butler in The Ugly Truth.
All right. And Savannah.
Yeah, I had James Marsden and Gerard Butler.
All right. Looks like everyone had the same there. So 27 Dresses was James Marsden, as it was said. The Ugly Truth was Gerard Butler. Life as We Know It, which some people may not know. It's on Netflix right now. It's really good. It's Josh Duhamel. So they were kind of bitter rivals that had to raise their friend's baby, their godfather and godmother. And Killers was Ashton Kutcher. So Colleen, you're going to do 6 through 10.
All right, cool. Do you want to give a score recap or keeping it secret?
No, we'll give a score recap. So it looks like Kelsey has 4 points. Andrew has 4 points. Savannah is batting perfect with 5, along with Ron, who's batting perfect at 5. So very close.
Awesome. All right, on to number 6. Disney Plus was recently in the news for re-editing this 1984 Ron Howard film by adding visual effects that appeared as if the character's long hair covered her bare bottom.
I'm locked in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right, so you can talk out loud, Kelsey.
There was a look of panic on your face.
I remember hearing the story, and I'm having trouble picturing what it was. Yeah, I got nothing. I'll say Fern Gully.
Fern Gully. Okay. Andrew?
It's the movie that made Madison a name, Splash.
All right. Savannah?
Yep, it's Splash. It's also the movie that why the Little Mermaid had to be delayed because they were going to make Ariel blonde.
Good fact there. Yep, that's true. And Ron?
Yeah, it's Splash.
And yes, the answer is Splash.
Yeah, they got into a lot of heat about that visual effects choice there, but I guess Disney Plus doesn't want to have anything slightly adult, I suppose, but The Rocketeer's on there. He shoots guns, but
I was going to say, some of the older Disney movies, I don't think that holds up.
Yeah. Guns are okay, but butts aren't, apparently.
Gotta hide them.
Yeah.
All right, on to number 7. What household item is the cause of Mel Gibson's first gaining his powers to hear the thoughts of women in What Women Want?
I'll lock in.
Okay.
I'll lock in too.
I'm locked in, but I'm not happy about it.
All right. So, Ron, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm not locked in, and I'm not happy about it. I can't remember it all. Just take a wild guess and say microwave oven.
Okay. Let's go to Kelsey.
I'm also wild guessing a little, and I went with toaster.
Okay. Andrew?
I know, I can picture the scene. I know he was in the bathroom. I think he slipped in the bathtub.
Okay. Actually, can you be more specific? So we're just looking for a specific household item.
I think he slipped in a bathtub and a radio got knocked into it.
Okay. All right. So in with radio, and then Savannah.
Microwave. I have no idea.
So you all had the right thought. It was it was in a bathtub. He was using the feminine products that he was of the account that he was trying to win at his advertising firm. But I'll let Colleen tell you what it was.
Yes, so he slipped in the tub and a hair dryer fell into the tub. So we were looking for hair dryer.
Yep, hair dryer fell into the tub. And if you remember, he was helping rom-com standout Judy Greer, who deserves her own leading role, but she's always the best friend in these movies. But I believe he got struck by lightning at the end when he was helping her from committing suicide. So got a little dark there at the end. All right, go ahead, Colleen.
All right, question 8. In 13 Going on 30, Jenna gives an impassioned speech to her fellow teen girls at a slumber party about love, using the lyrics from what well-known song?
I love that one. We haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, that one's one of my favorites, I think.
Actually, Judy Greer's in that one too.
She is, yeah. Best friend.
Yeah.
She's in all the really good ones.
And 27 Dresses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love 27 Dresses too. That's another one of my favorites because I feel like I am James Marsden. That's me.
Well, and I'm pretty much Katherine Heigl because I have been in so many weddings. I have about 10 dresses, so I'm getting there.
It's not going to come to me. I'm tapping.
Okay. All right. Andrew's tapping.
Sorry, I said I can't come up with it, so I guess I'm tapping too.
Okay. You are tapping as well. All right. Let's go to Kelsey.
I believe this is Pat Benatar's Love is a Battlefield.
And Savannah?
Yep. Love is a battlefield.
Yep, that is correct. Love is a Battlefield, Pat Benatar.
Yep.
So good. All right, number 9. What 1987 Steve Martin film was a modern retelling of Cyrano de Bergerac?
Locked
in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right. Everyone locked in very quickly on that one. Let's start with Kelsey.
Roxanne.
And Andrew.
I also said Roxanne.
Savannah.
Roxanne. I was tempted to do an impression of Sting, but I'll hold off.
And Ron.
Yeah, Roxanne.
Correct. It is Roxanne.
Yeah, I had to get a Sting adjacent reference in there since it keeps popping up for some reason every episode now.
All right, number 10. Whether it's Humphrey Bogart and William Holden or Harrison Ford and Greg Kinnear, their characters, brothers Linus and David Larrabee, compete for the affections of what title character?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right, so it leaves Kelsey. That was quick for everyone else. What are you thinking, Kelsey?
I believe it is Sabrina.
All right. In with Sabrina. Andrew?
I also said Sabrina.
Savannah?
Sabrina.
And Ron?
Sabrina.
Correct. It is Sabrina.
That is right. Okay. So after 10, looks like Kelsey has 7. Andrew has 7 as well. Savannah has 9. And Ron has 8. So still very close. Anybody's game. All right. Number 11. 2 brands are of importance to the plot in the film Coming to America. A fast food restaurant and a hair product. I need you to name them both. So the name of the hair product and the food restaurant, the fast food restaurant, that are central to the plot of Coming to America.
I'll lock in.
Okay.
Locked in.
Locked in. I only know one.
All right. What are you thinking, Andrew?
Well, I'm only certain of one. I know the fast food restaurant is called McDowell's. I think I know the hair product is, I want to say it's called Afro Sheen, but I'm not 100% certain.
Okay.
But that's my answer.
All right. Those are your locked-in answers. Let's go to Kelsey.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that I don't think I've ever really sat down and watched, and I've caught bits and pieces of it back when I used to have cable and it would come on Comedy Central, and McDonald's stuck in my head, but based on Andrew's answer, that was probably wrong. And for the hair product, I just went with herbal essences because it gives you the urge.
There you go. Good tagline. Savannah, what do you think?
See, I only thought I remembered the hair care product, and I thought it was Soul Glow.
And that's the only one you remembered, the hair product?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I remembered.
Okay. And then Ron, what do you have?
Yeah. I agree. You definitely want to let your soul glow. And McDowell's, you can tell them from McDonald's because they've got the golden arcs.
That's right. Yep. So Ron is getting points on this one. So it's McDowell's, which Kelsey, it's supposed to look like McDonald's, very similar. And then Soul Glow is the correct answer. Yep. And it had a very catchy theme song. And if I remember correctly, Eric LaSalle from ER, I think it was his family owned Soul Glow in the movie. He was very wealthy because of it. Okay. So let's go to question 12. Defined as a type of intimate conversation, this film, starring Rock Hudson and Doris Day, was the first of 3 romantic comedies the pair starred in together.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right, that leaves Kelsey.
I will say Pillow Talk.
Okay, let's go to Andrew.
I also said Pillow Talk.
Savannah.
I said Pillow Talk as well.
And Ron.
Yep. One of the best. It's a Pillow Talk.
And Pillow Talk is correct. Classic film. And there was going to be a question about, and now I'm forgetting the name of it, of course, a film that Renee Zellweger did with Ewan McGregor. And it was supposed to be a play on movies like Pillow Talk. But I remember it not being very good, and it kind of got critically panned. Down with Love, that's what it was called.
It was not good.
Yes. And funnily enough, it was directed by Peyton Reed, who would go on to direct Ant-Man 1 and 2 and Yes Man. And every other Man movie, apparently. Okay. All right. Do you want to take number 13?
Sure.
Okay.
Number 13. In Say Anything, you have famous props like the boombox playing In Your Eyes, or this item, which Jim urges his daughter Diane to give to Lloyd Dobler as a breakup gift.
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right. Kelsey's locked in.
Locked in.
All right. It leaves Ron. What are you thinking?
Oh, yeah, I can't really remember. I'm going to say it's a pen.
Okay. Ron is locked in with a pen. Kelsey?
I don't know this movie very well, so I just went with what I thought would be maybe a common breakup gift, but also a terrible breakup gift, which is a mixtape. Because you don't really want to think about the music that you shared with your ex.
That's a good point. Andrew, what do you think?
I also said, I gave her my heart. She gave me a pin.
Okay. And Savannah?
A pen.
Yes, and the item was a pen.
That's right. Andrew had the line correct. It's she's gone. She gave me a pen. I gave her my heart, and she gave me a pen.
Didn't know I knew that.
Do you want to take 14?
Took me a minute too.
I know it's kind of tough, and I always forget that Jim, who plays Ione Skye's father, is John Mahoney from Frasier, in a younger role. Great actor.
That's kind of what led me to it, because I was like, what would that guy think was a good gift?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very fitting to him.
All right, number 14. This is probably one of my favorite rom-coms. In the film Trainwreck features a memorable performance by John Cena and what other famous athlete who portrays a patient and confidant with Bill Hader's character Aaron?
Locked in.
Locked in.
All right, what do you think, Savannah?
I'm tapping. I don't know.
You're tapping? Okay.
Yeah.
So Savannah's tapping. Let's go to Kelsey.
I believe this is LeBron James.
All right. Andrew.
I also said LeBron James.
And Ron.
Yep. I went with the King, LeBron James.
Yes, it is LeBron James.
Yep. He's flexing those acting muscles in order to get that Space Jam contract, which they're filming now. All right. So this is going to be the last question here, and I'm not going to reveal what your totals are yet. But just to explain, this last question is something called That Movie Where. It's something that I've come up with before. I can't remember if I've done it on the show or not. But basically, you just have to imagine that you work at Blockbuster and a customer comes up to you looking for a specific movie, but they don't know the actors' names or any other details of the movie, and they give you very weird details from the movie. So let's see if you guys can get this. So I'm looking for the title of a film. Do you have that movie where 500 Days of Summer really likes Alex Mack, but the only way she'll return the favor is if he can get the Joker and Save the Last Dance to go out together, which at first is just too good to be true?
Locked in.
Locked in.
Do you need a repeat, Andrew?
Nope, I got it.
Oh, you got it. All right.
It's 10 Things I Hate About You.
All right. 10 Things I Hate About You from Andrew. Let's go to Savannah.
10 Things I Hate About You, one of my favorites.
All right. Ron.
Yep, 10 Things I Hate About You.
And Kelsey.
I said the same, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yep, inspired by Taming of the Shrew. It's 10 Things I Hate About You.
I quote this movie all the time, and people have no idea what I'm talking about because it's always the obscure lines, like when his friend's like, I'm excited and can't wait for that. Like, and then I quote the dad all the time, and people have no idea what I'm talking about, but I love this movie.
All right, we've tabulated the scores, and in a very close finish here of Game 1 in the romantic comedy tournament, in fourth place with a respectable 10 points is Kelsey. Right in front of her, Andrew with 11 points, and then very close for the final here. In second place today in the runner-up position, Savannah with 12, and in first place with 13, just one more, is Ron. So great game, everyone.
Awesome job. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, you all did a wonderful job. Savannah, that's a very high score, so we'll have you just be on call for the final in case someone can best 12 points, if that's okay. But yeah, before we head out, let's go back to everyone. Say thank you one more time. Let's go to Kelsey. Any parting words? Any romantic comedies we should check out that we didn't mention today?
Thanks so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. My contestants were excellent. They have a lot of great rom-com knowledge. And I would just say there's a lot of great indie rom-coms that get less attention, like Obvious Child with Jenny Slate and Your Sister with Emily Blunt are two that I really liked quite a bit. So I would encourage people to check those out. I think they're probably on Netflix, but...
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I think Obvious Child is on Netflix. We saw that in the theater, I think, together.
Yeah, we
Jenny
did.
Slate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Kelsey. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure. Any parting words from you? Anything we should check out?
I'm impressed by the knowledge of my competitors. There were some questions that I knew were there, but I didn't have a clue. It just escaped me. My favorite, I mentioned earlier my favorites, but another one that I love that kind of has gotten forgotten is Easy A.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that one's so good.
Tribute to the 80s romantic comedy.
Yeah, that's true. And speaking of Can't Buy Me Love, they do the nice little reference at the end there. Can't Buy Me Love.
Does say anything thing too.
Yes. Well, yeah, thank you very much for joining us, Andrew. Savannah, 12 points. You might be in the final as the wild card. It's a very great score. Thank you for joining us. Any parting words from you?
Thank you for having me. Kudos to all my competitors. And I want to recommend a really old school classic, It Happened One Night. It inspired Spaceballs. So
great film. I think there's a question about that in the next game. So yeah, great film. One of the big five at the Oscars. But yeah, great film. Thank you very much for joining us, Savannah. And then Ron, you're going to be sticking around for the final. Yeah, how do you feel? Any parting words? Anything we should check out?
Everybody, this was great. This was every bit as much fun as I thought it would be, and not nearly as stressful as I thought it would be. So yeah, that's it. I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, that's where the lack of seriousness comes from, because we don't take it too seriously. So we appreciate you joining us. Appreciate all of you joining us. This tournament is brought to you by Patreon, the lifeblood of our show. It makes this possible. So thank you to all of our patrons. If you'd like to join them, you can go to patreon.com/Triviality Podcast to get a ton more content to listen to. But thank you very much to all of those folks for keeping the show live, and all of our listeners who have supported us for almost 3 years now, or maybe 3 years. I can't remember what the anniversary date is, but thank you, Colleen, for co-hosting.
Yes, thanks for having me. This was fun.
And we will see you next week for Game 2 with 4 brand new contestants. And we hope you enjoyed today. For Colleen, Matt, Ken, Jeff, my name is Neil, and that was Triviality.